Hello everyone, I got some great news for you. Witcher Wednesdays is finally making its return to the Storm Gaming Alliance channel. As of this week, we're going to be picking up where we left off in the Witcher 1 playthrough with episode 9. Now I know it's been a while since episode 8, so that's why we're going to do the recap today. Whether you've seen the previous episodes before and just need a refresher, or maybe you're new to the series and just can't be bothered to watch old footage, either way you'll want to stay tuned. So let's get into it. Our story starts with Geralt running through the woods in a thunderstorm and then promptly falling down. The other Witchers find him while I try not to spoil the ending of the book series, but luckily Eskel did that for me. Once inside Kaer Morhen, we find out that Geralt remembers hardly anything besides how to swing a sword and vague memories of people from his past. Before Geralt has time to relax and recover his memory, all hell breaks loose and Kaer Morhen is under attack. So we pick up a sword and get to swinging. Just when we think it's safe, this crap happens and Triss recognizes a mage named Savalva. Apparently he's insane and able to control this frightener, and that isn't great for us. We're then introduced to two other shady individuals, one being an unknown professor and the other a sorcerer. We gotta find a way to get them out of Kaer Morhen, and after a fairly long tutorial process, we're finally able to open the inner gate and let the rest of the team in to hopefully flush out the trespassers. Vesemir tells Geralt to go into the keep to stop the professor and sorcerer from getting to the Witcher's laboratory, a tall task for someone with memory issues, but luckily we have a random Witcher named Leo to help lead the way. Once inside the keep, we fight some more baddies and eventually make it to the lab where we find old Wingus and Dingus. The mage puts up a magical barrier as well as blocking the way out, so now we have to relearn how to use a sign to clear the way out to go get Triss to help us with the magical barrier. We learn the sign, clear the way out, and go talk to the group. At this point, we have to decide to either fight the monster outside or go inside with Triss to stop the mage and professor. Of course, we all know a Witcher is better in a science lab than out fighting monsters, so we decide to go with Triss. Also, it's obvious that the plot is that way. Apparently the plot was actually that way, and we find Savalva, the mage from before. It's showdown time for an apparently very advanced mage and a man with amnesia. We finish him off with literally no problem at all and go find where Triss ran off to. It seems the mage who was hanging out with the professor was too much of a match for her, so it's up to us to get to them before they can find whatever it is they're looking for and teleport out of the castle. But that doesn't exactly happen. But at least we can knock some sense into this professor guy. Okay, well not Leo, but maybe Geralt. Okay, not him either. Well, now with Leo gone and the castle successfully ransacked, the least we can do is to help Triss get back to health. So after a bunch of running around and looting things, we make a potion, give it to her, and apparently she's feeling better. Later on, the team holds a funeral for Leo and it's decided that it's best to split up across the continent to search for this mysterious professor and mage who stole the Witcher secrets. Vesemir tells Geralt to head south to Temeria, and that's exactly what we do. Off to the city of Vizima. Unfortunately, the people of Vizima are having some troubles of their own, specifically with evil green glowing devil dogs. Thankfully, a Witcher showed up just in time to help them out. We find out that the dogs, or Bargists, have a glowing red leader called the Beast. And then this kid named Alvin starts floating and prophesizing, because why not? And then we kind of pretend it doesn't happen as we go on talking to our friend Shani. Geralt says he's looking for people wearing the sign of the salamander, and Shani says to talk to the Reverend. On our way there, we talk to a witch, which is apparently different than a mage in this universe, named Abigail. We gave her some Barge's skulls as a reward for her quest, and that was about it. For now. We then made our way through the outskirts of Vizima to find the Reverend, who greeted us with a warm welcome. After some convincing, he agreed to tell us about the Salamandra organization, if we help get rid of the evil dog infestation in town. But before doing that, we went and helped out an old buddy of ours by slaying a bunch of random villagers. That old buddy happened to be none other than Zoltan Chive, the dwarf. He told us about the Scoia'tael, but other than that, he didn't really have anything else exciting to say, so we continued on. After doing exactly what the Reverend told us, we find that it actually didn't help the Barge's problem at all, to the surprise of no one, especially Geralt. And then out of nowhere, the Reverend accuses the witch Abigail for summoning the beast and bringing trouble to the town, which is clearly a bunch of crap, but regardless, we go pay her a visit. She says that the beast is too powerful for her to summon, but she thinks Alvin, that kid from before, could be behind it. He is apparently what they call a source in this world, and she wants to give him a potion to help him spill the beans on why the beast is here. But before we can do that, we have to go on a fetch quest to get some flower petals. Then after spending way too much time looking for a guy who would give me flowers, we eventually find him, buy them, and head back to Abigail. She says the potion will take a while to finish and return to her later. So in the meantime, we take care of some side quest business, which actually turned out to be pretty cool. While doing so, we ran into another mage working for Salamandra and swiftly kicked his ass on a bridge. Then this guy named Kalkstein invited us to use his lab whenever we want and to visit his shop in Vizima. which is very nice. Thankfully, by that time, Abigail had finished the potion and was ready to give it to Alvin. He knocks it back and then proceeds to say some messed up stuff, as well as growl like a monster. But through this, he does say how the beast was summoned, albeit kinda accidentally. Abigail then breaks the trance that the potion put him in, Geralt says the thing, and Abigail claims another Witcher came to this town before us, which actually isn't the first time we've heard about this, I just haven't mentioned it yet. Yes, apparently we're following in the footsteps of another Witcher named Berengard. Who is he? Well, we don't know yet. But for now, it's time to pay the Rev another visit to tell him what's up and to clear Abigail's name. Time is of the essence, so we shove some dork out of the way and go talk to the Reverend. We tell him the beast showed up because of human wickedness, and we need to find out who's guilty. The Rev is surprisingly agreeable, and even more surprisingly, he finally tells us where we can get the key to the Salamander hideout, which of course is in the inn, right where we started in the first place. So, after running across the map for literally the 732nd time, we make it back to the inn to find Shawnee in trouble. Luckily, we prove to be the toughest guy in Letterkenny and defeat all the bad guys in the small town bar. Shawnee says these thugs killed the innkeeper, which sucks because the Rev said he had the key to the Salamandra hideout. But don't worry, ain't nothing a little looting can't solve. After getting the key, we make our way to the hideout, and the locals seem happy to see us. And after a couple tries, we're able to get through them and find an all too obvious trapdoor. And like all creepy trapdoors, it leads to a creepy cave, where we find a creepy guy. He says that Berengard left, but we do find out the name of the mage who ransacked Kaer Morhen, Azar Jeved. He also says that whatever was stolen isn't in the cave and it's in their base in Vizima. Geralt isn't happy about that, so we gotta kick some ass once again. With that out of the way, Alvin shows up. Apparently the Reverend sent the kid to the abandoned house and said that someone will be waiting there for him. Obviously the people who were so happy to see us just a moment ago were actually meant for Alvin. With Alvin now in tow, we make our way through the cave and find none other than Abigail. She's down here because she caught wind that the villagers think she's the one who summoned the beast, so she's brewing something to defend herself against literally a whole village. What is in that cauldron? But anyway, here's the catch. The reason the beast is here is because of the wickedness of the villagers. That's obvious. But the thing is, Abigail profited from their deeds by selling them poisons for murder and other things like that, all of which we saw during the side quests, which I barely showed you 3 seconds of. Anyway, with the final plea to not let the villagers harm her, we head outside to talk to the clearly reasonable villagers. We try to tell them that they're just as responsible for the beast being summoned as she is, but they're not having it. In a decision that I'm still not really happy with, we choose to side with the villagers and say Abigail is in the wrong. My reasoning being that nobody here is innocent, and I didn't want to take down a whole village. So just like that, Geralt walks away to let be what will be. Our cool main character energy-filled walkout is interrupted, however, by the houses spontaneously combusting and Mr. Beast showing up. And now it's time for some action. It takes some hacking and slashing, but finally we're able to get rid of the beast. The Reverend shows up to thank us by giving us a pass to the actual city of Vizima. But first we head back to the inn to meet up with Shawnee so we both can leave the village and get to the city. Leaving the village in a better state than which we found it, we get to the city gate, and sure enough, get arrested by the guards. Once in jail, we see the professor who's getting let out of a cell. He basically says that there's nothing we can do before just walking out. So before being able to deal with him, we have to figure out how to get out of here. The jailer tells us that if we slay a cockatrice lurking in the sewers, he'll grant us our freedom. So what the heck, let's do some witchering. After getting to the sewers, we meet up with a guy named Siegfried, who's also trying to hunt down the cockatrice, despite not being a cool witcher like us. But after wandering around the sewers and dispatching a few drowners, we find the cockatrice and barely take it down. I then make a Simpsons reference, and just like that, we make it out of the sewers and are greeted by the beautiful visage of Vizima. Before being able to freely roam the city, we head back to Vincent to clear our name with the cockatrice trophy as proof. With that out of the way, it's city exploring time. And after getting a feel for Vizima and doing some side missions, we're ready to continue our hunt for Salamandra, the professor, and the mage Azar Jeved. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, join me right here on the Storm Gaming Alliance channel, and we'll see you on Wednesday for some witchering.